Today, in my same but different Christmas card series for 2019, I'm sharing a theme, and it is a colour, and it's in the navy. Hi, it's Therese from Lostinpaper, and this is my final in my 2019 card series for Christmas. And I thought it'd be fun just to do something a little bit different, and I wanted to do a colour theme. Now, I wasn't really sure I was going to go with this. I went onto Pinterest, which is what I do if I want inspiration for colour, and I saw some really beautiful photos with navy, silver and greys and whites, so I thought I'd go with that because I don't think I've ever made like a navy based Christmas card before, let alone 5, which is what you're going to get today. So as you know, I'm in a real stripy mode at the moment, and I thought I'd start off by creating a panel. This is some Nina 110 pound cardstock. I've got some Ganslo Tambi paint, and I just painted some nice wide dark blue stripes. And I've set that aside to dry because I wanted to play with this Waffle Flower Crafts. Now this is the pull tab tree. Now this is the bundle that you get. I'm not going to use everything in the bundle because you can actually add fat leaves, but leaves to the tree. But it's a pop-up tree that goes on the front of a card. And you can pretty much do anything you want with this tree. You can make it the colours, the patterns, anything you want. So I got out the Altenew Baroque Motifs stamp set and created my own design paper. I was inspired by a paper from one of their packs, and I'm hoarding that. So instead of using that, I'm actually creating my own, and stamped it out with some limestone ink. And this cardstock is wide enough to fit the whole sort of base of the tree. So what I've done here is actually die cut all the pieces that I need. I placed the tree over the center image that you could see there is the bit that's going to be at the front to see. So I made sure that was pretty. Okay, now I'm going to take you through this, and only once. So watch closely. I'll know if you're not watching. The tree has lots of fold lines on it, and all of these fold lines get folded inwards, in towards the back of the tree, in towards the blank cardstock in my case. And I'm just using my Teflon bone folder to help. Now, if you don't have a Teflon bone folder, it is well worth the investment. There's 2 kind of tab elements that make the pull tab. And this can be used from either side. So whichever side you're going to be using the pull tab, you cut away the tab. So mine is going to be pulled to the right. So I've cut away that little tab on the tree itself. I'm adding a bit of glue to adhere the star to the very top of the tree. And I just used some mono, which I know will dry very strong and quickly. And then I've got this little dot here, and I made sure that I die cut it having some colour behind it. Not a very dark colour in this case, but this is what sort of shows through that little hole to let the person know that that's what you need to pull. So I've added some score tape. I've used the 1/4 inch, and this is the only piece that sort of folds towards the front of the tree. And I'm just showing you here that you need to fold it 3 ways. And then there's a piece of tape where my right thumb is now, and when I remove that, that's what's going to adhere to the front of the tree. So my pull tab also has a little piece of tape on it, which I'm removing, and I'm just sort of making sure that I'm facing it the right way. I'm going to have it on the right. It's going to be facing with the little dot, the pull mechanism on the front, so that we know which way to pull it. And then I can just fold the tab over and adhere it to the centerpiece. Now I've just removed the adhesive from that centerpiece and folded it over, tucked the tab through the hole, and then just adhered that to the front of the card. All that's left to do now is remove the top sort of middle portion to adhere the tree into sort of the cylinder that it will become. And then the only tape that's left to adhere is the 2 little sections on the bottom near the base, and that's what's going to adhere it to the front of the card. Yay! Did you get all that? Oh no, there's more. This can stay popped up. It's really fun. See that little niche? I think it's a niche. The hole, the cut. See the little hole in the pull tab? You just slit. You put the slit in the actual pull tab. It hooks on and it stays popped out. I love it. Alright, so now my stripy background has dried and I'm adhering it to the front of a top fold card. I'm adhering it directly to the card front because these trees do pop out quite a ways. If I want to post them, then that's just going to add less bulk. And then I can just adhere the tree to the front of the card by removing those two sections at the back with the tape. And if you don't want to use score tape, you will need a strong tape, or a liquid glue would work just as well. The sentiment I've got today is from Concord and Ninth, and it's the Very Merry sentiment set, and I really like this one. And I've stamped it in some Desert Night. This is Ultra New ink, and it's a real kind of dark navy blue. It will dry a little bit lighter. And I'll just use some scissors to cut out my sentiment and some pop dots to attach it to the front of my card. How cute's that? I love how fat this tree sticks out. It makes me happy. So I have a couple more of those trees on my cards today, so that's kind of the main mechanism for those trees, so I won't go through all that again, but I did decide to use the rest of the striped panel and the rest of the sentiment, but I did have to stamp out a grey sentiment to match as well because I thought that'd be fun rather than have it all navy. I fiddled with it for a wee while on the front of my card, and I did pop up this actual striped panel on some fun foam this time and added a silver twine with some jingle bells up the top, so I thought that was a bit of fun. This time I've stamped the Baroque motifs in Desert Night ink, and I wanted to stamp my sentiment directly onto the tree, so I needed to do that before I made. You could probably make it work if you're clever, but I thought it was just easier to do it before I actually got the tree all made or assembled. And that sentiment comes from another Ultra News set, which is called Festive Poinsettia. I added it to a pale grey. This is the Dotted Swirls Debossing cover die, which is a fave of mine. And then I did come in with a few little jewels from the Pink Fresh jewel set. My favourite little embelly at the moment. I'm having such a fun time with these. This is kind of a black colour, but because it's reflective, it tends to pick up other colours that are around it. So to me, it looks navy, and I think it went really well. These are very simple cards today, but they're interactive, so that adds that fun element to them. And it'd be good fun to sort of get a little production line happening and make a few if you are running out of time, because it's nearly time to get the cards in the post. I went and got my stamps the other day, so I'm pretty excited. I'm going to write my Christmas cards very soon. Now this is a stamp set that coordinates with the die. Now I did use my die as a template to work out where to put my stamp to make sure that it was going to fit on the cardstock that I had cut. And all of these trees I'm making today, they're out of the Nina 80 pound. I didn't use the heavyweight cardstock because it's a little bit more forgiving when you want to fold it. Now the only difference here is that you do need to line up the cutting edge of this die, which is right on the very edge of that triangle opening, right against the stamped image, and it will cut the very top of the tree off. But you'll see when I adhere the star after, and the pictures after, that just means the star comes straight out of the stamped image. I'm afraid to say this die isn't available anymore. I couldn't find it anywhere when I was looking for the products that I used, but I know there are a couple of similar ones out there. I think Lawn Fawn's got one, but this is an MFT one called Snowfall Vertical. I know there's some really fun stencils. They have the same, but it's a stencil, so it would look really pretty to do it with a stenciled image in the background as well. But this is probably my favourite card today out of all of them. And it would look great in any colour. Well, most colours, probably not every colour under the sun. Probably not puke green. Well then, I kind of don't mind. There's a colour that reminds me, oh yeah, that chartreusey colour. It's kind of like bile, but it's really pretty. Not that bile's pretty, but chartreuse is very pretty. Maybe I should have chosen chartreuse today, not navy. That would have been fun. Okay, I'm on my final card now, and I've got another sentiment from the Concord and Ninth set, and I'm splitting it. And to do that, I'm just doing some selective stamping and using some post-it notes to protect my cardstock. And that way I've created a space to put a snowflake between my sentiment. I'm just attaching this to the front of some pale grey cardstock, and then popped it up on the front of a top fold card on some fun foam. And then these are the Altenew, they're the layered snowflakes dies, and I had a few of these already die cut ready to go, and I thought it'd be fun just to pop like a larger one on top. And then I also had this glittered ones already cut out, so I thought I might as well use them. And nah, obviously I didn't like the big one, so I went with the little one and attached it with some liquid glue. Now I'm going to adhere. No, I'm not. I'm going to attach a couple of videos at the end from previous years when I've done the same but different Christmas card series. I hope you've enjoyed it this year. I've had a real blast making the cards for you, and I hope you were inspired. I'm going to be back again with some more videos real soon, so keep an eye out on my channel. Head to my blog if you want to see lots of pictures of these cards and more Christmas inspiration. At the moment, there's heaps to see. So till next time, thanks for everything. You guys are amazing. And happy Christmas paper crafting. Bye.